Yes, confidence is key. Perhaps it's sometimes it's intimidating at the first board meeting that you go in.
I know far more women who have imposter syndrome than men. You know, ask any man, oh, do you have imposter syndrome? They'll say, what the hell is that?
Hello, I'm Oumila Sibartie. I'm the co-founder of Lineage Invest, a corporate finance advisory firm. I also sit on the board of directors of several other financial services companies, such as the SBM Bank Mauritius. I have the pleasure today to share with you my experiences, thoughts, opinions as a woman independent director on several board of directors, and I hope that this will encourage more women on boards.
Hello, I'm Johanne Hague. I'm a barrister at law and director of my law firm Prison Chambers. I also sit on the board of a number of companies as independent director, including the Mauritius Commercial Bank. I hope my insights and conversations I will have today will inspire more women to sit on the board of companies as directors. I understand that you're on the board of several companies as independent director. How did these opportunities come about for you?
Yeah, well, I am the co-founder and director of Lineage Investment Services Limited, which known as Lineage Invest, and that started about 3.5 years ago. So obviously being a shareholder and director also of the firm, given our expertise in the financial markets, me and my partner, I just started from there. Before that, I was more an employee of several large companies, including Bloomberg Financial Markets in the US and London for 11 years. And then I came to Mauritius in the banking sector with SBM and Barclays Mauritius, now AXA. After some time, I decided to go on my own account, and then we founded this company, Lineage Invest. So directorship started from there, being managing and director of your own company, coming with a lot of experience and challenges. Then over time, I started getting more offers to be joining other financial services companies, including the SBM Bank Mauritius and an insurance company, as well as an asset management company. So here I am, now totally independent from being a strict employee of the firm. However, it's a great experience. Now I see things from the other side, and here, yeah, this is where I am. And how about you?
So for me, I've always found, I've been an employee all my life as well, up until about 2 years ago. And I started my career in London as well as I trained as a solicitor. And then I came to Mauritius and I joined a law firm. I qualified as a barrister, still an employee because we have the concept of law firms in Mauritius. And then one day, I guess I woke up and realized I wanted to fly on my own and founded my firm. And I think it's a journey. I think the route to directorship is a journey, and you learn along that journey, and opportunities come about sometimes organically, but I feel that for me it's always, and I guess I'm sure it's the same for you as well, it's always through experience and your skills and competence, where people know about you, know about your work, and they value your work, and then the opportunity offers itself at the right time. So I think the opportunities that I obtained further down the line to be independent director on the boards of a number of companies came with experience as a result of work that I had done maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years before. and people remember you. And I think that that's how it happened for me. Obviously, it's my feeling, my experience, and it's. I would say that I'm still at the start of that journey. I still have a lot to learn, a lot to discover, but it's an exciting one. And I can't wait to see what's ahead.
Yes, I can imagine. I mean, it's similar for me. I never thought 23 years ago when I started my career that I would be doing this type of role. However, just things came one after the other, and being open to new opportunities. I guess that's what brought us here, and also all the circumstances that we are in. I think challenges as well as mostly opportunities with the pandemic, where a lot of people want to work from home and be independent. It just worked out so well recently. And when you work independently, you can work from anywhere, basically, at any time. You can look after your family, your children, and everyone else in your community. It's just a matter of being well organized and being able to prioritize things when you need to, and contribute with utmost focus in each and everything that we do. So I think it's a very interesting journey, as you say, and it's just the start as well.
Yeah, and I feel that sometimes it feels like as a woman, so much is expected of you. You're expected to be a mother, you're expected to be a homemaker, you're expected to be have an amazing career, and there's so much expectation on us, and sometimes it feels like it can be a hurdle to the journey to directorship, for example.
Yes.
And I've always held a strong belief that positive discrimination is not always good, because I certainly wouldn't like to be on a board just because they needed a woman to tick a box.
Sure.
However, I feel that there is often the lack of opportunity for us. The lack of opportunity means that there is a lack of access for people who have amazing skills and competence, but because they're so focused on all their other hats that they're wearing, they're not getting that opportunity. And I think Mauritius is changing in that sense. I'm definitely seeing more and more women on boards. I think the figure, I mean, it's still very low. It's 13%, I think, across the board.
Yes.
But when you compare it to what it was 20 years ago, I think it's changing.
Yeah.
Is that your experience as well?
Yeah, I mean, we would expect actually so many women coming to work and having more senior positions. We would generally tend to expect this kind of trend, and also see more women on board or as CEOs. However, this has been the trend has not really picked up that much. I mean, surprisingly, only about 8 companies out of the FTSE 100 companies, which are the top listed companies in the UK, are women. Only 8 out of 100.
Wow.
So they are still very far back as well. And we see that trend also in the US. You would not have expected it in developed countries. However, it is like that, and I think it's changing slowly. But and surprisingly, in Asia, Southeast Asia, I think like Malaysia, there are more women in senior positions. More, the percentage-wise is more than in the Western countries. But definitely, this trend is changing. In Mauritius, again, it's a very low percentage. If we're looking at CEOs of the top 100 companies in Mauritius, I guess there's barely none. And only 13% of women, like you say, is on the board of directors. Why is this? This is the big question everybody is asking, because we do see so many competent women out there. I personally believe that it's about the support system that women have. Even though we are in a generation where more and more women are at work, yet it is still expected that the woman is still assumed, like you said, the main responsibility of being a mother, being a carer, being the one in the community who needs to take charge. And also we're seeing more single parents out there, so it's more challenging for a woman with 2 kids or 1 or 2 or 3 to be able to handle all this, though that woman may have so many qualities and competencies, wants to move, but it is quite hard. But to say that it is impossible, that's a bit far, because we are doing it. And I think my secret of doing it is really about being organized. About having the control of, first of all, your calendar. You know that if you have meetings, where you can fit your meetings, and that independence of fitting the most important things first, or juggling also whenever you need. So multitasking, staying focused on whatever you're doing. So for example, now we're chatting, so try not to think of everything else or what to cook tonight, but it's part of our job to also do it. Yes, and I think society has not moved that far as to say, okay, you can focus on your career. Like I don't want to be sexist, but our society still expect that the man of the house is the main breadwinner, and not. It's not going to be very common to be the other way around. And also, like, even the way we brought our children up. I have 2 children. They're grown up a bit now, but whenever they don't feel well or at school, who do they call?
Their mom.
Mom.
Yeah.
And a mother who is not feeling well, who do they call? Their son or their daughter? They call their daughter. So we still have that role, and therefore we need to have the time also for everyone in our circle. Is not just work. However, when you're at work, you want to keep yourself, and I think a lot of women have got this in them. They want to do what they do well and perfect, and sometimes we try to be too perfect, and some women don't want to take that next step to be in a CEO position or to be on a board of directors, because they fear perhaps they will not be up to the standard. They won't be able to deliver. In fact, they can, but it's just the support system that is not really in place to take a little bit of the other load from them.
Yeah, and I think you're completely right about saying that they feel that they can't, because I know far more women who have imposter syndrome than men. You know, ask any man, oh, do you have imposter syndrome? They'll say, what the hell is that? Sorry. You know, whereas a woman will often feel, I can't do it. They would, if there was a promotion, they would feel that I have to tick every single box in order to qualify for that promotion, or even to be eligible for that directorship. Whereas a man will just go for it. And similarly for pay increases, you know, when you're negotiating a new job, a man will just go and ask what they think they deserve, or even if they don't deserve it, they'll just go for it. Whereas women also often, I feel, we bring ourselves down because we don't have the confidence to just go for it. And then deal with the consequences after. We feel that we have to be perfect in order to qualify for that. And I think that to be on the board of a company, you need to have that self-belief first. Yes, I agree with you that you need that support system, but you need to believe in yourself first, and then the universe will deliver.
Yes, absolutely. I think spot on, Johanne. Yes, confidence is key. Perhaps it's sometimes intimidating at the first board meeting that you go in. The first time you're just sort of sitting and really observing and taking stock. But once you understand the working of the company, the culture, etc., then the confidence start building, where you can actually really start contributing, voicing out, giving your views and opinions. And as soon as you start seeing that it's being received, the confidence just kind of builds. And we should forget that we are women. When we are in the board meeting or in a committee, we should believe in ourselves as a professional, And once that confidence is there, like you say, it's really in us. Nobody can do it for us. It's us individually. If there are less women out there, we have to say it's because of us ourselves. Only we can change it, because we are able to. We have the capabilities and everything.
And for you, from your experience that you've had so far, have you generally feel welcome on the boards that you've been on? Have you felt that you were there as a woman, or have you felt that you were there as any other director? Have you felt welcome?
Yes, I think for me personally, my experience has been that I felt welcome, because all the boards that I am on is based on my sort of experience and qualifications, the field of finance and investment, and they were looking for these kinds of attributes, and hence why I'm there. So I never felt like it's because I'm a woman that I'm there. I mean, so far it's been like this. But I do know that, with the code of corporate governance, it is encouraged to have more gender equality on the board or representation. So yes, there should be. That's just because of the fact that we have less women. But I don't think we should put the gender factor as a main factor to nominate or recruit somebody on a board. It should really be based on diversity, on qualifications, experience, and how much value each board member can bring onto the board.
Yes, no, I fully agree with you. And I think that, I mentioned about positive discrimination earlier, and I do think that once we have that self-belief and that support system, other things will unlock themselves, and we will be able to take it to the next level as women in general. But as you said, we shouldn't be defined by our gender, and certainly not our role on the board. And I always feel that, when people ask, as a woman, what can you add on the board? And I always feel slightly offended by that, because it's more, as a person, or how can I add to
absolutely.
The board? And I have great hope that we're going in the right direction, perhaps more slowly than we would have wanted it to. But I think the fact that we're sitting across each other today is testimony to the fact that things are changing. But what other solutions do you think that we can that could help change things?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of solutions. Just before I go to the solutions, you just mentioned something about, and I just wanted to add on that. Yes, about what as a woman, what can you bring on the board? Yes, we don't want to be seen as a woman species. However, but a woman does bring an additional element to the board. It's the soft part. I think that I have already experienced it, that it has played in tough situations where there are possibly some lively discussions. You will tend to see, again, I don't want to be sexist or anything, but you tend to see more animated discussions, and sometimes where there are disagreements, there comes to a point where things are stuck, but women sometimes can bring, they have more soft skills, that they can bring that in the picture and soften the communication. Men can tend to be a bit sometimes
bang on the table,
maybe loud and stuff. And then the woman comes in and it's like, may I add something? And then everybody calms down. So, I mean, it happens. It has happened. I'm not saying all the time, but that element of that softness, it can help in diffusing some of tensions and stuff in some boards. So, yeah, we can add value in that way as a woman.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting perspective. I guess, I agree with you. I think in general, we probably, although men will probably be upset that we said that, perhaps we have a bit more emotional intelligence. But, they have their qualities too.
Yes, you need a mix of both. I think that's why we need to have this good mix of gender on representation on the boards. Yeah. So, Johanne, you were asking me earlier, what solutions? How do we bring more women on board? I think it's a very personal thing. Everybody would have their own experience, how they join the board. But I think what can we say? There must be more awareness of which companies are asking or looking for board members, and there should be possibly a more non-subjective method of measuring and recruiting women on board, or members on board. I must say, if we want more women, then maybe we should go out and start looking for the ones who could qualify. Also, the fact that you have a lot of women who are already in full-time employment, it makes it a little bit harder to have those women on the board, independent members. However, there are quite a lot of other independent women working for themselves, their own businesses. So perhaps going through the organizations of women entrepreneurs, or those types of organizations that could encourage them to be. And also just having a system, a more supportive system. Like we've already had it. It's already been done and tested with the pandemic, that you can have that flexibility of having your meetings from home, having all the platforms, and so you don't really need to always be physically there. And that makes it much more easy to accommodate more women on board. And sometimes you will have like mothers, they may be, they have their children next to them, but they're still focused and they can still contribute here. So those are like sort of a few solutions that I think in mind. But there, of course, there's a lot of things that can be done to train, to groom and coach women and give them more confidence. We have the new board of good that has been created, and there are more and more members on the platform. It is a great feeling to be part of this board, and as we grow as women on boards, we can start also encouraging others and give examples to how we can, if we can do it, why not others?
Yeah, and I think that it's really important what you just said about support, and I think a mentoring system and having a mentor is so important. I was just discussing that with another leader this morning, and we said that a mentor doesn't have to be, or actually shouldn't be, from your own organization, but having a mentor, a professional mentor or life mentor who coaches you and has the ability to guide you throughout your life will probably give you more confidence and the ability to just go out there, put yourself out there, because what's the worst that can happen? You get rejected and then you pick yourself up and then you try again. So I think having a mentor or one or more mentors are incredibly important in that journey.
Yes, definitely.
Do you have any final pieces of advice that you could give to our viewers?
Yeah, well, be confident. That's key. Don't be afraid. Be yourself. Be genuine, authentic, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. That's the only way that we can learn. Like you said, you get fall and then get back up, but then you have learned from your mistakes, which you are not going to repeat later. So it's a whole journey. It's like life. There are ups and downs. At the end of the day, when you look back, it's all great experience.
Yeah, and I think that also I would add, do not be afraid to keep on learning. And What I mean learning, I don't mean the Mauritian definition of learning. I mean, life is a constant, lifelong lesson, and there are other ways of learning now. There's so much available on social media. I'm a big fan of podcasting, but there are other ways that you can enrich yourself and expand your vision. And I really do feel that as you do that, opportunities will offer themselves. And I'm not talking about some new age concept, but I really do believe that as you open yourself up to the world will open itself up to you.
Absolutely. That's really, really the case. Be positive and learn through people, and there will be in different forums, different boards, wherever you are, there will be different people with different opinions and diverse backgrounds. You learn from them and be open, like you say, open to receive, open to also make mistakes if you need to, but learn and enjoy the journey. I think the key is also enjoy what you do.
Yeah, exactly, and have fun. It's
Yes.
been so great chatting with you. We've never
Same
met
here.
before, but
Yeah,
it's really
we've never
lovely
met,
too.
and here I feel like I know you for many years.
I know. Well, I hope we get to catch up outside this.
Yes,
setting
absolutely.
also. Thank you.
Thank you.